for social media, how to explode your impressions. Yeah, we in this room today. Thank you for joining, and I'm excited that you are in this space listening. This is the SEO 4 series, and we've talked about SEO for branding, for brands. We've talked about, let me be more specific. We've talked about SEO for local businesses, right? We've also talked about how you can use SEO specifically when you're creating content for podcasts, right? And then today, we're talking about SEO for social media. So this is going to be a little bit different, than the other rooms because all these things work together. Hey, Cuckoo, good morning. All these attributes come together, right? Because with social media, there has to be something that's bringing you closer to your content pieces, how you're connecting with people, what you're saying to people. So this is going to give you a perspective on how to make things work for you as a business, first of all, and then at the same time, also understand the value of using social media for SEO. So we're going to talk about that today. So sit back, sit tight, relax, and we are going to have a really good time, having this discussion with you. So appreciate you for being here and spending time. If you do leave the room and you don't have much time to be here, we're going to be here for about 90 minutes. Good 90 minutes. So a lot of good stuff is going to happen. I know you might be busy, you might be in and out of the room, but make sure you save this replay before you leave quietly. There are three dots at the top right that says, hit on it and then click save replay so that you can save the replay before you leave. And then when you leave, you can come back and listen to the replay. So thanks for being here. Okay. Before I get started, I want to know what social media you'd like us to start off with, because I don't want to kick it off myself. So if you're here already in the chat, please put in the chat what social media channel would you like to hear me talk about first, or which one are you interested in first? Put it in the chat. Let me see. I have some in mind, but I want to see what you have too, so we can see if we can match that up. Let me know. Let me know. Okay. Maybe you're not sure. I don't know. But I still want to give you some insights too, because you may not know what to give or what to say, but platforms that do work that you can use in 2024 for your business can really be beneficial for you long term if you think about using social media to explode your impressions. Now, why did I use the word explode your impressions? Because you have to look at one impression as one person, right? When you hear, oh, we have 29 impressions, you take it like 29 impressions doesn't mean a thing, but 29 impressions are 29 people that could actually help your business grow because they can spend time and money with you because they're actually the people that are looking for your service, right? We look at those big numbers, and we're like, yeah, big numbers are great, but the small numbers are even greater. And most people kind of diminish or just throw away the small numbers because they feel like, okay, they're small numbers. What does that do for me? Nothing. Yet you have 5 impressions and those are 5 sales. You see the difference? So would you rather have 5 sales from 5 impressions or no sales from 50 impressions, right? Just think about that. Like take the smallest unit and then divide that. And then ask yourself, what is that factor looking like for you? Is this something that you would want to do as a business? Is this something that you would want to operate in holistically, right? So thinking about your business right now is one of the great things that you can do for yourself because you are looking for ways for people to connect with you. And These connections are big because you want to make sure that your presence is heard, it's seen, it's felt, right? And it's SEO. Like when I'm talking about SEO for social media, welcome Monty. I'm not just saying SEO for social media like okay, be on social media for SEO. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you're on social media, what are the words you're saying consistently that you are showing up for in a community that talks about the topic you refer to on a daily basis? That's SEO. If people are talking about email marketing, are you there? If people are talking about hair, are you there? If people are talking about, let's say, for example, today we're going on Instagram Live, right? Today we're going Instagram Live in the next 2 hours, and I'll be going live with my friend Marie, and she's amazing with branding, right? She does like permanent jewelry. So in this social media that we're going to be doing today, I don't go live on Instagram a lot, but I'm going to be going today. And it's because we want to do something called OTSA, which is on the spot audits. Thank you, Monty, SEO. Hey, you know, you think about the long-term planning, the long-term effect. It's so interesting to think about this because I'm looking at it like for me, it's so nostalgic in a way because I don't go live on Instagram a lot. But when I think about the episode that I did, my first episode on my podcast, to be really 100% honest with you, if we just take it back, my first episode was an Instagram live upload from Instagram. And at those days, it used to be what, IGTV. So we did, Instagram live. I went on live with my friend. We did a song together. It's called Etchy. Really nice song. I'll actually put the song here on Apple Music so you guys can actually, because I'm a musician. I don't know if you guys know that, but I'm an artist, recording artist. And I just want to give you guys some context. Let me put the song here. It's a single, so I'm going to give you guys a single copy. Yeah, boom. And then I'll put the link at the top. This is the first time I'm actually sharing a music link on Clubhouse. It's normally a website, a podcast, something, but all right, bet. Here we go. So this is the app. You can listen to it on Spotify, anywhere, just YouTube, check it out. It's called Etchy. So we did this song, and what happened was that we did an Instagram live, like a, how do you put it, like an Instagram live behind the scenes of the song, because we wanted to let more people know about the song. And this was around like it was August, but we technically did the song earlier, and then we brought the song back up in October because the song was perfect, and we used the song for Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. So we used in between July, August into October to build, awareness about the song, right? People listen to it and everything. Fun fact about this song, Lupita Nyong'o's brother, Peter, he and I went to the same high school. So he plays the saxophone and I play the drum. So we used to play in the same band back in school. So I said, yo, bro, I need to do a song. So the saxophone you hear in this song, it's him playing that saxophone. So just wanted to give you some context. Yeah, so why I'm bringing this Instagram Live whole thing today is because I'm going on Instagram Live today again. And this is 5 years after the podcast has gone up, after 400 episodes. It's like nostalgic to go back on Instagram Live to do behind the scenes, but now instead do like an on the spot audit for businesses who need their audits, who I can audit your website on the fly. I can audit your brand, audit your business, and at least get you to know what's going on. Because sometimes we don't even know the digital health of our business because we're just posting away. We don't know what to say. We're just posting because everybody's posting, but we don't know the formula. And if we understand the formula, then you'll take your time to get the result. If you don't know the formula, you're just going to be everywhere trying to figure the same thing out. So I want to help you solve that and save that time as well. What's up, Liverpool's finest? How are you? Good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'm doing well, just enjoying the weather. Just came in to show some support and found that this room title was very interesting. And obviously, I haven't been in the marketing club for a couple of days as well. So, yeah, I came to get my fix. So, yeah, over to you, Mabel.
Thank you, Liverpool Signers. Appreciate you for being here. Yeah, today is SEO for social media, and I'm just, showing people how it works, just from the ground up, looking at it from Instagram Live, that's social media. You take that to a podcast, you take that to an email turns into a website that you're sending it from, right? Those are things you have to do, right? I just set up an email marketing, you know, workflow for a friend of mine, and she signed up with her Gmail account. So I called her and I said, hey, make sure that you update that email address to a work email address before you send out any emails to anyone. Because when you send an email and broadcast, let's say you have 1,000 subscribers and you send it through your at gmail.com account, you're gonna get flagged. It's gonna get in the spam. It's just gonna be bad because you don't own gmail.com. Gmail.com without your name is a domain. Gmail.com is a website. So you don't own that. So if you're sending emails with at gmail.com, then there's a problem. So you don't want to do that. So I told her, change that. You've set it up, cool. Change that to your business. So she got a Google Workspace, professional email account, which is your name or info, hello, initials at your domain, which you own, which is your property, which is your first party data.com or .info, .online, .live, .io, whatever you want to call it. And then you build it that way. So when you're creating connections between your website and your email, when you send people an email, you're sending them to your social media. But how did you get their social media? Sorry, how did you get their email if you were not on social media first or if you were not on search first? Because for them to have even jumped in or to get into your email, it means that you created a bridge, right? And what's that bridge? A pop up on your screen. What's that bridge? A link to sign up. What's that bridge? A quiz, a survey, a room like this. People can attend, people can listen, people can learn, right? Then eventually they'll pick it up and they'll be like, okay, that's cool, right? So those are different things that you can look at as a business when you start to understand that when you want to explode your impressions on social media, you have to think about the spaces that you have to be in to get those results. And I'm going to tell you about a platform today that I don't think I talk about a lot, but I'm really giving you guys nostalgic vibes this morning because I want to take you back a little bit into some things. So I'm going to change the link again. This link you see that I'm changing it to sparktoro.com. I don't know. They need to work on their open graph. I would need to tell them that, but this is it. Hey Candice, good morning. Spark Toro is the first app, the first link, the first give that I gave Clubhouse when I joined November 2020. This is the first link I talked about when I opened my mic on Clubhouse. I don't even remember what room that was. It was probably a marketing room. And I said, hey guys, check this website out because people were just dropping bombs everywhere and links. I was like, okay, let me say a few things. And that's how it started for me. So Spark Toro is an audience research tool. This is information I don't think you've probably gotten anywhere else. How do you get better ROI from content? That's a very big question. ROI, what's your return on investment from content? Because you're paying for Canva, you're paying for CapCut, you're paying for ChatGPT, you're paying for everything else, right? But are you getting an ROI on that spend? If you spend $9.99 a month on Canva and you spend 30 posts a month, do you get that back that can allow you to pay for the next month, for the next year, for the next 5 years? So when you look at your social media and where you're doing SEO or connecting with people, think about the words that you're putting on your Canva pictures. If it's talking about, let's give a random example. Let's say you sell cake. If it's cake you sell, make sure that the word cake is visible on that image. Let's say if you don't want to put the word cake, put a cake there, put a type of cake there. Like be very visual with your communication, because when Pixie, which is like a Pinterest algorithm, that's the name of the algorithm, or Google Lens, or any other scanner, or even Google, which indexes your pages, right? When they see a picture of a cake and you put in the alt text, uh this is a photorealistic red velvet cake in the middle of a banquet hall by the dining side. Very specific, right? I've given you, like, I've painted a picture. So when that image is being screen read, it's being read to match you. So, like, when you're using Instagram, for example, or LinkedIn or Threads now, before you post a picture, there's usually something on the bottom left or in the settings, or if you hit the more options, you always see something that says, even on Pinterest, it will say add alt text. Most times people leave that blank. Why? Two reasons. They either don't know what to say, or they want to say something, but they don't know how much to say. So when you're using, welcome Ryan, when you're using social media to understand the value of earning impressions, exploding impressions, gaining impressions, moving impressions, right? Impressions means that I'm impressed. That's a simple 101. I'm impressed. I like your post. I react to your post. I comment on your post. Like it doesn't get simpler than that, right? Now, why we make it complicated is because we feel like we need to explain, overestimate, analyze, criticize, justify everything. Instead of just saying, hey, this is what we want to do. And if you're interested, here you go, right? That way, anybody who is not part of that bracket or quote unquote community, they're not going to listen or pay attention to that because it's not of interest to them. So they're not impressed because it's not of interest to them. So you've negated the people who are not supposed to be on that space or in that list, right? So you start building those things on social media and you now put in the alt text. That alt text stands for alternative text. So what that means is that you're describing the picture. If you're going to describe a picture, don't describe it with fluff, right? When you describe a picture, welcome, Billy, describe the picture with keywords. And there are three S's you have to think about. I've said this before. Think about the semantics, think about the sentimental value, and then think about the SEO. Welcome, Kyoko. When you think about those three things, every time you show up on social media, you will always explode your impressions. Why? Because you're sharing information with other people about your content. I just got to know this because I was doing research on Threads, because I'm giving you examples about social media, just going around social media like a tour. On Threads, I just got to know that when you write short posts, when you write short threads, your posts get to about 90% of your non-followers. When you write long posts, it starts to attribute to 10% of your followers. So when you do the math, you get to realize that there are things that you're able to connect and put your 2 cents, like you would do with LinkedIn, in the comment section, and have that same, habitual, professional, ethical, with etiquette posting that gives that business professionalism as a thought leader, right? You can still be comical, you can still be humorous, you can still, put your, tie down, you can still let your hair down. You don't have to be all stiff neck and everything on social media, because some people go to LinkedIn and they're like, okay, I'm so professional. Then you go to TikTok and they're dancing. You can be what you want to be, right? And who you want to be, but how you show up and what you're saying in the authority of your content, that's really where people determine whether you're just showing up for clout, showing up for flex, showing up for actually to educate, or showing up to impact. Like there has to be a distinguishing factor that allows you to understand the difference between those two. So when you're using a platform like this tool up here, I'm giving you guys this tool for free. Spark Toro. If you've never heard of it, check it out. You can get better content and do the audience research. Get to know what people are saying. You're able to use, I've used this platform, it's so good. If you want to get to know what people are saying on podcasts, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, you can use this and see how it works for you, right? If you want to know how it works, you click on this link and then you click on product. And it's going to tell you everything. How do you get their demographics, behaviors? What do they visit? What do they read? What do they watch? What do they listen to? Who do they follow? What do they search for? How do they describe themselves in their bios? What language do they use in their content? What is their gender, age, interests, job title, education? So much more. I'm just telling you guys what I'm reading here so you can see it for yourself. I just want to just share this with you. You know, you can literally find center-based content that when you show up online and people are asking the same question, because everyone's going to ask the same question but in a different way, right? So if I ask the same question that you ask, it's going to be different, right? And you can use this platform for free, right? They have a paid plan, of course. You can use their paid plan if you want to do it, but you can get 5 free searches a month for free using this platform. This is not an affiliate link. I'm not doing any partnership with them. I just felt led this morning to just tell you, because I feel like some of us are stuck, and I'm not here to give you guys fluff. If you guys are serious about your business, if you're serious about taking serious chances in actually connecting with people online and actually building your social media with SEO. It's not about, oh, SEO, SEO. It's about who are you talking to and how are you talking to them. It's not what you say, it's how you say things, right? So if you use this platform will give you free 5 searches per month. If I were you, I would use those 5 searches like a genie in a bottle, like a what do you call it, like a message in a bottle, right? 5 searches a month, I would be very specific with the 5 questions or the 5 searches I'm going to use a month. And those 5 questions can serve you for 5 months. Let's just be real with that. 5 searches, meaning that each search has an individual target audience or a segmented audience to contemplate, or maybe let's complement the primary audience, right? This audience now allows you to discuss terms, details, history, pros and cons, commercial information, case studies, everything in 1 month. Because you can't talk about everything in 1 hour. When this room closes, yes, I'm excited about it. We learned something, but you won't get everything. I can't learn everything either in a month, right? But I can take a month to plan, and then you're able to build that. So if you use this Spark Toro, use it and really see how you can get those free tools, use them right now, connect with the right people, and build. Now, there's somebody that I connected with. We just started season 9 on the podcast show. We just started season 9, and we kicked it off with my good friend from Australia, and his name is Aaron Whitnish, and I put the link up here. He talks about how you can spend 90 minutes. If you've never heard this before, listen to this episode. You can spend 90 minutes for a 30-day content plan. So if you are using Spark Toro and you use 5 searches each month, if you're spending 90 minutes for 30 days, that's 1 month. So 90 minutes equals 30 days. All right. So if I'm going to do 90 days, how many minutes do I have to invest? Right? Now you really start counting your time. You start counting your time. Like sometimes we don't count, yeah, it's per hour, but the minutes in those hours also matter. The seconds in those minutes also matter, right? That's why when you see the Olympics, that little millisecond, it matters because that's a factor. It's a metric. So when you spend time spending on the right information with the right people within the communities that people are actually communicating, then those are places that you want to be in. Reddit, perfect example. You can be on Reddit and put your link there, your podcast episode, you can put your article, which would have your like Amazon affiliate links. It would have all your things because you're sending people to your property. So it's not like, oh, I'm putting Amazon links on Reddit. I'm putting my website on Reddit so that people can get my affiliate links on Amazon. So you start to change the way you think about things. So when people look at your reels, your shorts, your TikTok videos, and those are embedded into your articles, which are indexed by Google, by Bing, by Brave browser, by, you know, Yahoo, Yandex, Yext, all of them, right? You start to build those impressions because every time you hit publish, and it goes, you don't know who's seeing it. On LinkedIn, when you get 20 impressions, you think those 20 impressions are low. Those are 20 people and they matter too. So you have to think about what are you telling them and how are you showing up online. So if you use SparkToro, get your 5 words, get your keywords in order, understand how you can serve people in 5 months, and then build your email list. It can grow. There's someone I was talking to on Threads this morning, and he was like, it was such a great conversation. And he's still now he's kind of convinced about what I was saying because I could tell in the beginning he was a little bit on the fence. He was like, no, I don't need it. I don't care. I'm like, bro, I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just telling you the facts. That was all I was doing with him. And eventually he was like, okay, you're making sense. And this is how it started. I'm gonna send you guys a thread so you guys can see it. Like I love threads. It's really really exciting. Let me see how to share this thread with you guys. Let me see. How do you do this? Okay, boom, got it. All right. So I'm gonna put this in the chat so you guys can click on this. Let's go. Did it work? Bingo. All right. So click that link. That link will take you to the thread I'm talking about. So this guy asked, right? Random, I don't know him from anywhere. He said, when he created a poll and he said, when you are a guest on a podcast, what kind of content would you be excited to share on your socials? And then he asked less than 30-second clips or 30 to 60-second clips or static images. Then I said less than 30 seconds. And then I just said, hey, if you create a short, quick, catchy, less than 30-second episode, then you give the chance of your listener to make a decision whether they're going to play it in full or they're going to swipe left. So now he came and he was like, What do you mean by swipe left? I'm like, okay, chill. He's like, okay, I get it that someone is trying to watch your video, but for them to go to your podcast from your social media is very tricky. And he doesn't do it himself. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I'm literally narrating this whole thread to you guys like a story because I want to tell you exactly how, and I hope it also helps you too. Because he was like, yeah, when I said swipe left, I wasn't meaning that they just swipe left. I mean that if they actually even do that, right, they're not interested. Like any other video, if you're not interested in the video, you're gonna swipe up, you're gonna swipe left, you're gonna swipe where you don't want to be, right? You're gonna just leave the app, right? So they're not trying to listen and waste your time or waste their time either. But if your episode is catchy, it's less than 30 seconds. I've heard what you've said. It started off with a question. Now somebody's saying something that catches my attention. And now let's say they give a statistic or they have some type of data to support it or some type of curiosity, right? Now I'm curious. Now I'm like, okay, they're going to naturally find the name of your show because you're posting it already on social media. So they're going to look at your show and then they'll go to your podcast and subscribe. And then I told him, hey, by the way, there's a better way to do this. If you just tell them, hey, if you want them to connect with you, give them a call to action and tell them to subscribe to your show, but the show should be on your website. Because his problem was that he was wondering, how am I going to connect with anyone on social media to get to listen to my episode or my video, my YouTube, whatever it is that I have online, and then actually spend time outside the platform that they actually tell them to leave. And he was like, oh, it's not possible. And I said, it's possible, but you need to create the bridge. So I told him, hey, if you just tell people to go to your website, that's how you can get first party data. Then he went crazy again. He was like, I don't have a website. I don't collect data on people. I'm not into that. I'm like, okay, all right. He said, I appreciate the suggestions and the conversation. And I was like, well, I get you, bro, but I just gave him a reality check. I was like, hey, if you have a podcast and you're not generating and nurturing leads, but you're using social media for branding and marketing, you're spending time on second party data, social media, right? Where you see your analytics on social media, all the great stuff. Even Threads now has analytics, right? All that stuff is great. You don't own it. And that's what I was telling him. I was like, you don't own these platforms. And we're also using Threads like right now, and they have your contact information. So I was like, hello, Threads has your information. That's why you're here. So first party data means that they opted into your website with their consent, meaning that you didn't force them to, they left their contact information. And that was because they wanted to, not because you told them to and they were forced to. You can tell them to do it and they may not do it. So you don't force them to do it. You just offer it. And if they accept the offer, then that's a good exchange. If the offer is rejected, then that's not a good fit. That's fine, right? Sometimes we're scared of hearing no. Sometimes when you hear no, it's for a good thing. You know, God can tell you yes, no, or wait. So don't think everything should be a yes man or yes, yes. So think about those things. I told him, hey, first party data, you got to let that happen. And I said, you know what? I'm done talking. Wish you all the best. And I appreciate you connecting with me today. And I was like, yeah, it's cool. And he was like, yeah, I get that. And I'm like, okay, here we go. I just don't have anything to generate and nurture leads for. I don't sell anything. That's the problem part I was missing. I told him, yo, you don't need to sell anything to nurture an audience or to do anything. You're building a community. If you're on social media, you're building a community. You're not building a product. People are not products. People are people in a community. So I had to kind of give him a reality check this morning. And I was like, bro, you have to think outside the box, because if you keep thinking like this, you will never go anywhere. And if you don't have a website, you will never rank on social media and rank up to a website. Because, first of all, if I search for your name, your social media shows up. So why is your website not included? So there's some things that it's like, hey, hello, come on, like we got to do better. You can't be buying a domain or paying for a domain and not using it. I'm not saying a website I mean, you can have a website, right? You can rank all day, you can make your money. However, you can even do word of mouth. You don't even need to be on social media to make money. I'm not saying be on social media, have a website to make money. I'm saying be on social media to show thought leadership in your subject matter of experience. So when people refer to you or connect with you, you have a social media proof of concept, and you have a website people can refer to if they want to connect with you further. If I want to connect with you and I give you my business card, I'm not going to give you my business card and tell you to follow me on TikTok, on Instagram, on social. If I was to connect with you on a business to business level, the only social media account that I would connect with you on the spot is LinkedIn. That's the only one I would use. And then from there, we can now graduate into something else: email, phone call, Zoom, whatever it is, in person, right? You build that relationship from the ground up, right? So that social media connection is an added value to you. So you're able to explode your impressions like that. So when I told him this, I told him, hey, you don't need to sell online. Even if you have a list of 1 million people, you don't need to sell anything. So I told him one great example of this is Seth Godin, right? Seth Godin, amazing marketer, amazing guy. We all know him. And he writes every day. If you subscribe to his email, you get an email from him every day. Even if it's one letter of the alphabet, you're going to get that letter that day. That's because he's building community. So I told him, hey, you're not building community. You're not building a product. Sorry, you're building community, because the community you're building is going to attract the people that want to be part of the community. Apple is a community. Tesla is a community. Kroger is a community. Samsung is a community, right? Clubhouse is a community, right? It's a community of people. If we leave here There's no community. It's just going to be an app, right? So what makes the app are the people. If there are no people that are using the app, then how are you going to rank on the charts, right? So you have to think about that. I actually saw a thread earlier today, which was very interesting to look at because I don't know. Today, Threads has actually been going crazy for me. Threads has been really, really. I'm like, okay, I'm going to use Threads a lot more. I've been under using it, so I'm going to be using it a lot more because I did a thread today in an hour. It hit like 10,000 views, and all I did was repost something, and I said, "This page makes me happy." That's all I said. I reposted something 3 hours ago. Now it says it's 20,000. I'm looking at it, 20.1K views. And the guy that responded back saying, "Thank you, dude." And I was like, "Yeah, you're welcome, man. We care about you." That's what I said. Like just showing love, just showing like, "Hey, I appreciate you." A normal repost. People just repost. I reposted this and said, "This page makes me happy." Why? This page is really cool because this guy is an artist. He creates wallpapers for iPhones. So if you love, wallpapers like I do, I've just put the link as well here in the chat. You can click that thread and you can see what I'm talking about. That page went crazy. It's 20.1K views right now. And he responded back and said, "Thank you." Right. So, and that's a really nice picture. So if you download that picture and use that as your wallpaper on your phone, it's great, because people want to have, nice wallpapers. So I'm like, hey, let me share with you wallpapers. A friend of mine, she has a playlist, really good music playlist. And I was like, hey, you should sell your playlist, sell your Apple playlist. Tell people, hey, subscribe to this, give me your email, and then it's called a social unlock. So a social unlock means for me to give you a link on social media. In exchange, you have to give me a contact, either an email or a phone number, right? Of course, with your name, sometimes without your name, because some people just want to build a list. And then from there, they can start to nurture it. So at that first point, that's an exchange of first party data exchange. So you can do a social unlock like that and then give people access to your LinkedIn, access to your Reels, access to a specific video on YouTube, something that actually gives them value because they now said, hey, I want this, I got that. Now you have my email, now you have my attention, right? So that's the exchange on social media because sometimes we think about social media and we forget that social media is rented property. We don't own it. We do not own social media. Unless you have a social media app that you own, then you own it, right? But if you don't own the social media app, then it's not yours. It's somebody else's. So how do you build your presence on somebody else's property, but still drive attention from their property to your property? And that's by showing up with consistency and quality. So when you show up online, social media wise, you're giving people insights, you're sharing information for free, right? Social media is free. You didn't pay to be on Facebook, you didn't pay to be on Clubhouse, you didn't sign up for a subscription, right? There has to be some type of entry and exit, right? When you look at this right now, iHeartRadio, iHeartMedia, let me just be more general with it. iHeartMedia, they did a study last year and they said that, interestingly enough, right? They said that there are more podcast listeners in the United States of America than Netflix subscribers. So when you think about the stretch on that alone, only God knows what the stats are for the rest of the world. But when you see that, you get to know that people would rather spend time than money, right? I mean, money and time, which one do you want to spend more? Do you want to spend time researching or you want to spend money so that you can research less? It's up to you. You can research all day long. And then I just get on the phone call with you and say, hey, just turn this light, switch this, switch that, and that's it. But you've been running in circles all day, going through every video possible, every tutorial, every, page you can find, every podcast, just to find that one answer. But yeah, you could have paid for it. And in 30 minutes to an hour, you could have probably solved a 3-year problem, a 10-year problem, right? A decade problem. So there are things you have to think about on social media that if you're showing up for, you have to create it correctly. Welcome, Miana and Austin. Good morning. So social media right now is one of the best places to be, but it's also the most time consuming places to be, right? And why is it time consuming? Because when you look at social media, I'm really going a little technical here, and I'm going to give you like a dichotomy of two things. When you look at social media has a lot of consumers, right? But they don't have a lot of producers, right? I want to be very basic with this. Then when you look at SEO or when you look at websites, there are a lot of consumers that consume websites, and there are also a lot of producers, right? But the caveat with that is the producers of the websites are not optimizing for search. Now, that's the other problem. So that's like another layer in between. So they're not optimizing for search. There's an influx of websites, there's an influx of social media accounts, and then there's also an influx of dormant accounts. That's what starts to happen. So we have high activity, high dormancy, if that's a word, right? If it's dormant, then it's consistently inactive. And inactivity leads to redundancy, right? So if you have a website and you've not updated, you've not even done publish, like republish, just hit publish button, and that's it. You not doing that and is already bad enough, because when you publish your website, I'm not saying you keep hitting the home button republish. That's going to be redundant too. What I mean is create a new page on your website. If you're on social media talking about something, community news, a new app just dropped, something is going on, put it out there. For me, I've found out online what the most competitive keywords for SEO are for Q4. So I'm going to be writing specific high targeted articles that are going to help people commercially find the results, which is initially and indirectly going to bring in traffic. And that traffic will now turn into leads where people can organically connect and then subscribe. That's how we've been building, right? Because it's all about inbound marketing. There's the difference between indirect marketing versus direct marketing. So I'll be talking about that next week. Indirect marketing versus direct marketing. I might bring it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so I might just finish off with that. I don't know. We'll see. But you want to use indirect marketing to attract direct marketing. In other words, you want to make sure that when people are online not sure what they want, because there are five types of awareness, right? Five types of awareness. Five types of awareness. Consumer awareness, customer awareness. Five types, right? And these five types of awareness have to to look at it from a bigger scale. And this information is not new. If you go and Google Eugene Schwartz, it's German. Eugene Schwartz. He talked about the five levels of awareness. Just check him out. You can do some research on that, because I like to do research, guys. That's just me. I love research. There are five levels of consumer awareness that has been studied over time, right? Especially for social media, because the worst thing about social media is you're posting all day, nobody's seeing your post, and it's just stressful. Put a one in the chat if you've ever felt like that. You posted something online and you feel like nobody's seeing your post. Like it just feels like, did somebody see my post or did somebody not see my post? Put a one in the chat. Would love to see that. Okay. Liverpool, tell us a little bit. How do you feel? I know it's early. It's early in the morning. Let's talk about it.
How do I feel about that? Is your question? Am I
Yeah.
correct? Okay. So I do find it quite incredibly frustrating when it happens, because it's like, um, when it comes to my Instagram page, for example, because I'm very active on Instagram and on Twitter, I have a specific set goal that I want to achieve. And one thing about me is that I'm very goal driven and always like to stick to my goals. And when I don't reach those goals, it can be incredibly frustrating for me. And sometimes I tend to kind of like beat myself up and like be like, maybe I shouldn't have posted it at this time because obviously when it comes to like Instagram, for example, in the algorithm that they use, there are different factors, so that the time of day that you put your Instagram post on is also bound to have how much traffic or how much engagement you're going to have with that post, or the right amount of hashtags that you're going to use as well is another factor as well. And so sometimes I do find that rather frustrating in a nutshell. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's true. I've felt that way too myself. Like I've had points in time back then when I'll post and 48 hours have gone by and not one person has liked it. And I'm like, what happened? Is it me? Is the algorithm? Is something broken? Like you feel like you're not even relevant. That's the feeling that people get. And I've felt that before. But I've overcome that by just doing more. I think that's just the and I think Alex Hormozy says it best too. Like, just do more. If you want success, just do more. Just do more. And I want to give you that doing more today in that segment. So yes, what's the name of the 5 level awareness author name? Yes, his name is Eugene Schwartz. Eugene Schwartz. I'm just gonna put the name because I don't want to butcher I want to make sure you get the right details like Schwartz, like the watch. If you can spell that Schwartz, I did a little of German, so let me just write it as Schwartz. This is like back in the day. He talked about scientific advertising. That's what he calls it. So 5 levels of awareness. Boom. All right. So I actually want to get a link for you guys so you guys can actually see it. Yeah, there we go. Because I want us to have like a study today. I don't want it to just be talk. I want it to be really, really interesting to learn. All right, so here we go. You're welcome. Okay. All right, let me do a test. I like to test my links first before I send them. That's one thing about me with testing links, because when you test links and you know they're working, when they're secure, you see, like right now, if I sent you guys this link, it would say page not found. Boom. So I'm glad I tested the link before I sent it. So give me a second. I think that's something I've been doing for a while now that is so helpful, because that way you're able to really know online how to connect, what to do, what are the signs, how do you make sure that you're not giving the wrong information, because people just put a link for a link's sake. Boom. All right. There's an article from Outbrain, right? And the 5 levels, I'll just quickly say them and then I'll go deeper into them. You guys can click on the link. There's unaware, there's problem aware, there's solution aware, there's product aware, and there's most aware. Those 5 awareness stages are so important, because by the time you're moving from solution aware to product aware, by the time they're most aware of you, they can wake up in the morning and they want a Starbucks. That's why they're most aware of you. That's how it feels. That's really where most aware comes from. So I'll break it down a little further as we talk about it, because I really want you guys to know how to use social media properly for SEO. Ryan, we'd love to hear from you, because I love you talk about, attendees, engagement, online boosting. That's a big thing when it comes to social media and impressions. So we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for joining.
So you know what, Favor? As you've been speaking, I went onto that website you put on, Spark Toro, and I was like, "Oh, this is quite deep." But one of the things I wanted to ask you about is the affinity in terms of the word they've been using in relation to keywords. How does that work? Could you break that down?
So the affinity, I love that you asked that question. Affinity, I love to use Pinterest for affinity, because affinity is this whole consumer awareness, consumer behavior thing. Because when we do SEO for clients and for businesses, it's not just, oh, we want to do your SEO. We really want to know who they are. Like, I'll give you guys a very clear example. We have a client. a very interesting. I'm so excited about this client, and she sells and he sells, like both of them. It's like a mixture of the two, because it's like a joint effort, and you can't even know who it is, if that makes sense. Because if you let me just paint a picture for you, right? If you walk into a store and you like a t-shirt, you like a shirt, like your shirt too, like Ryan, like when you look, like that's a really nice shirt. When you looked at that shirt, did you think about the brand? Did you think about the reviews? Did you think about who made it? Did you think about, was it made in Indonesia, made in the US, made in Vietnam? Did you think about those things before you purchased it? Was that crossing your mind, or it was just the aesthetic and how it feels in the moment?
Just how it feels in the moment, how it drops. You know, when you put on a good shirt, you look at yourself, you're like, oh, that drops, that looks nice. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Thank you for saying that. So when I look at that picture, it's like you start to realize that in that moment, like you said, it's very realistic in the timing of actually receiving that experience, because you walked in not knowing what to see or what to expect, but because you like what you see, you pick what you like. So that starts to, have that interest and desire. So now, because you like that, that's affinity, because I can now say, okay, somebody else that lives maybe within the same mile radius, actually likes this product and likes what you like too. But you probably don't know that you both like it. But how I can base that you may both like it is because you both live close to this location. And that's very ambiguous to say, because you can live in the same location and like two different things. But what starts to make the affinity become a really important score to look at is when you start looking beyond the demographics and the psychographics, and you start paying attention to the social graphics. That's why I was giving you the Spark Toro, because when you look at that affinity, let's say 90% says business marketing, 89% says business development, 85% says business strategies. Now you're like, okay, what does this mean? Am I talking to all these people? Am I going to segment between all these people? Same thing with LinkedIn. LinkedIn does that really well with affinities. If you look at your impressions, and you can see if sorted by demographics, by job title, by size of employees, you can see all those things, right? That's affinity. That shows that in this company and this company both share this number of employees. This company and this company are both in the advertising industry. Now, if they're both in the advertising industry and they're running ads to connections and users on the web, on social media, who share this type of information, meaning that on their social media, on their For You page, on their content, if they're even selling products, if they're an affiliate, you start seeing those kind of products resonate because it's coming from those companies. So now with affinity, you start to see that result, because now I was unaware of this product. Now I'm most aware because I've actually understood the cause for why you even have a product in the first place, for the community. So with this client I was about to mention, it's more so of a, like, selling pink shirts. And I did not know this till I did the research, because we were on the phone, and I was like, not on the phone, on Zoom. And I did some research. I don't know if you guys knew this. And for me, I've always, the way they say real men wear pink, it's like a thing that people say. It's a real thing, because I didn't know this until I did research yesterday. And that's why I love research. It was back in the 1920s. Right now we're in the 2020s. So this is like a century ago, right? In the 1920s, pink was the color for men who actually showed dominance, masculinity, which is a crazy concept for me. And like, like, I was like, what am I seeing? Yeah, it was meant for people that had, you know, they were able to show that, symbolism of good health as well. It showed comfort, it showed, peace, it showed things that were very, you know, soft but also harsh at the same time, because pink was seen as a lighter color of, soft, but it was actually a powerful color because not everyone wore pink in the 20s, right? So when you think about that, and now you didn't know that, you were so completely, you didn't even think you were going to get that information today. Now you know, oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm going to do research. Then you wear a product because you're actually wearing it as a person who actually wants to show out that representation. It makes sense. So I was thinking about that. I was like, that's true. Because someone like Jay-Z, right? He called the color mauve, right? That's the name of the shirt, the suit he wore. He's like, what's this color? It's mauve. I don't know if you guys have seen that video before. He was just walking and he wore that color, and not many men would wear pink. I would wear pink. I've worn it before and it looks good. Not every man would want to wear pink because they're like, nah, that's a girl color. I do not wear, no. Like 100% no. We're not even starting that conversation, right? But if you look at the history of pink, pink was actually a color of royalty. So, and it was a masculine color. So you have to start thinking about those things. So now, if I know that, if I want to now find the affinity in that, Ryan, right? Welcome, Laurent. If I want to find the affinity in that pink, right? I'm gonna find men in the United States that are confident in wearing pink, whether it's pink slides, pink shirts, pink ties, pink suits, whatever it is, pink t-shirts. I'm going to gather that information, and I already know where in the States people buy pink shirts from. So that allows me to know, okay, this is the affinity because I know that these people within these local areas or sub-regions associate with this product. For example, grocery stores, right? I love Threads because it gives me some really cool insights of things that I didn't know, so I'm able to like tap into those things. I didn't know that. I mean, I knew this, but it wasn't really clear because it wasn't a visual map. Grocery stores in the United States are so different. So you can go to the West, you can have a completely different store that you're used to than the South, right? Like, for example, a Publix from a Wegman or from a Kroger, right? Those are like completely different, but everyone has a Walmart, everyone has a Target. So when you start thinking about the ones that have that primary location dominance, people are in that affinity of knowing those products. They are product aware of those brands. So if you're a brand associated with those products or within those communities, then your affinity taps into the consumer experience because that's what they're used to doing with this, it's like a habitual performance, but at the same time, it's a consumer analytical way of understanding how they connect. People just wake up in the morning, they go, get their coffee from Starbucks and they go about their day, or they're going to get their coffee from BlackRock. So you start to know, okay, where do people get their coffee? Where do people drive? How do they go to the McDonald's, drive through in the morning, or do they go to Starbucks drive through in the morning? So those kind of things get to be very specific so that when you run ads, when you show up online, when you show up on social media, you're also showing up with dominance as well. So that also adds to your color because when people are able to connect with you and then you show up with products, with themes, with topics that you also associate yourself with, it's different. And then people actually connect with you. If you are this person and this is your persona, and you talk about things that you are personally involved with or things that you're personally interested in, even though you're corporately available or corporately accessible as a business, people will still know who you are because of the personal and character you have. So even your corporate values, your business values is going to show your integrity, your passion, your thriving, mentality. All those things are going to show within your products. Even if you talk about a random video that has nothing to do with your business, it has everything to do with the personalization of the character. So when you now use that character trait as a yardstick, as a litmus test, to now find other people within the same locality or within the same region or even within the same spread that can associate and be within that same thread, then you're always going to find the right people that are looking for your products within that community. Does that help, Brian?
Yeah, no, totally, totally. I get it. So it's like grouping, and obviously finding that link between.
Exactly. It's like a Venn diagram. Just find that sweet spot, and then that'll just be the right hit that you can always make. So that's definitely a good one. Thank you for that question, Ryan. Laurent, welcome to the room, man. How you doing? Love to hear from you. Thought, questions, suggestions. The floor is yours.
Man, how you doing, man? I always come here to get a good dose of good knowledge on SEOs and stuff like that, man. SEOs, I think I spoke with you about it last time. It saved my life. So I know SEO will never die. Primarily on how I use it is and how I built it over time. Publications. I've cheated my way through the SEO um, algorithm. So if you were to go on Google and you look up even rights, the only thing that's going to come up is my platform. And that's because over time, I've literally did so many different activities through that domain that it's brought that SEO up. But the main one, my cheat code, like I tell everybody, is man, make sure you have a tab on your website that has publications because that's going to spread dramatically and help bring your SEO up all the way. Um, I love SEO because it's something that's embedded. It's something that's never going to go anywhere, no matter what anyone says, no matter the ads you pay for, whatever it may be. I have people paying for ads that are not necessarily similar to my platform, but have something of similarity. They're nowhere never going to be on top of an SEO because back in 2015 is when I started this company and I was writing publications as soon as I started. So SEO is definitely the way to go, man. Yeah, I want to go ahead and sit back and be a sponge and learn anything else that I can learn from anybody else on stage as well.
What do you mean by publications?
So here, I'll put it in the chat. I have a website called, or I can't even say website. I have a platform called Even Rights, and essentially, it's we eliminate negative stereotypes, and we do it through events, collaborations, projects, and management. So in the in the uh, in the publication tab, I might write a story, and I just copied and pasted it. Give me 1 second. I might write a story that represents what my brand entails, and that's the publication. So say if I find like a you know what, to be honest with you, I was actually going to ask Favor if I'm saying that name correctly. Correct me if I'm butchering it, my apologies, but I wanted to see if I can write a publication on you, man. And what that does, so say we collaborate on this publication and I write about them and we both post it on our social medias. When people go and then they click that, it's not only just helping him get, people see what was talked about him. I always tell people, hey, thank you, man. They're always like, hey, Laurent, thank you so much, because I've never charged a single dollar to ever write. I've never charged a single dollar to shoot an interview. I've never charged a single dollar to do anything, but I've made sure that it's been how I wanted it to be and how I seen fit representing the brand. So I might ask him, hey, how do you feel about creativity and optimism is important to promote to our younger generation? So in the SEO algorithm, because I'm talking about that, those keywords that are bolded in the publication, which you can do in your publication, it's gonna bring up you to the top of whatever is on the internet about creativity, optimism, and equality. So when people look up Google and they type in certain keywords, again, I'm going back all the way to 2015 when I started this company. Those keywords, those type of keywords have always been in my publications just because of what the brand represents. Because any publication that I do write, it has something along the lines of what I want, something along the lines of what my brand represents. So that's what I mean by publication. I did leave the link in the chat if you guys want to take a look at it. You're more than welcome. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing to have for sure.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that for sure. Let's connect. I'll definitely, send you a message after this, and we can see how we can connect online, offline, and talk about it. So, this is good that you're mentioning this because it got me thinking about something too. Welcome Carrie and welcome Amen. I was thinking that there's something that happens across, and you guys might be like, "Oh, this is." I mean, you've seen it, but it didn't really hit like the way it's about to. I'm going somewhere with this. If you look at Google and YouTube, and then let me give you another side of this story. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So you know how in like Microsoft Word you have bold, italics, underline, you know, subscript, all that stuff, all that, text formatting, that's within the HTML formatting, segment, right? So When you create videos on YouTube, when you create videos on Instagram, when you create videos on TikTok, when you create videos on Pinterest, when you create videos on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn now has LinkedIn video, when you create videos that have those captions, right? And those captions are said, they're auto generated, they're in the caption, they're in the alt text, they're also in the file name. That's the root directory of the file that you're uploading to the server. And you have like it's like a tree, right? It's like a like think about a tree, like a cedar tree, right? It's strong, it's long lasting, right? It's evergreen, it's right there, it's solid, it's rooted. So you have your keyword from the ground up, because on YouTube, when you upload that video on YouTube, you can never rename that file name that you have there. You can edit the title, you can change all the details, but you will never be able to change that file name. It will be that JPEG.mp4, is that's what it's always going to be, because you didn't change it initially in the beginning. So when you write your YouTube description, those first 40 to 60 characters, when you write it on Google, those first 40 to 60 characters in the description, when the keyword people are searching for in the search box of any search engine like Google and YouTube, when your search box shows up in the search results, when those keywords that you typed in verbatim shows up in the search results, it may not show up as a phrase match, it might show up as a broken match, and that means it may show up as one word was said, in the first line, and then the second one was said in the second line, right, on the second paragraph. So when you look at the words on YouTube, pay attention to these things. When you look at the words on YouTube and on Google, and those words that you wrote in the search box are bold in the search descriptions, that says a lot about your business. Because when YouTube and Google highlight and put a bold text on top of your regular text, but what even makes it even better is if you enhance your text on your account, right, on your blog, and put a bold text on it. So people just write articles, but people don't put bold text, they don't put italics, they don't even put author paragraphs. Like how, let's say you said something in your podcast that was really striking. Create a quote. It's called a quote. There's a format for quotes. Put a quote there, because those quotes, that's what people read, right? When you have an interview with somebody, right? Those quotes, those first three lines, that's what people read before they read the whole story, right? So those are things that are going to captivate people in. That's the 80%. If you can't capture that 80% with a 20% headline, you can't go farther than that. So you have to think about those things. Go ahead,
You
Larson.
know what? And also, when you do put those in bold, you can also have those to go to a second landing page. So that second landing page might be something that you might be talking about in that specific subject. Say you're talking about a piece of merch, or say you're interviewing somebody. I'll use myself. If I'm talking about something that is along the lines of an event, or I interviewed somebody and it has something to do with something that's coming up, that those bold letters that he was just referring to, those can also be active words. So when you click on them, they take you to somewhere else, and they might prompt open to let you know that they're live. So those are also really, really helpful, especially when you're writing anything. I just wanted to touch bases on that.
Thank you for highlighting that. Yeah, 100%. Because those are the
Highlighting
words that
that.
you
I'm
will be
sorry. That
seeing.
was just I'll segue. Highlighting. Get it?
I on purpose. You know what I'm saying? I'm an artist. I'm a songwriter. So definitely when I write lyrics, yeah, I can, the words are, English is a beautiful language. Yeah, context, content, you got it, tomato, tomato. You gotta know which one you gotta use. You know what I'm saying? So I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that insight. And welcome, America Supermom. Amen. We'd love to come to you. What are your thoughts on the topic?
Hey Faber, hey everybody. Your topic is always amazing as usual, but SEO for social media, and for me, it's social media and for your website, because if you don't have a website, you don't have a business, guys. But let me speak about the quality of the content, because let's go back for the main point. Why are you writing those keywords, or basically, why are we writing the content? Because you wanted to serve your community or your customers, and so on and so forth. And in order to, in my opinion, to high rank on the first pages, often you wanted to go for the quality content, which builds the trust and the credibility, because that what people really now, especially nowadays with the evolution of the AI and everything around that, it's people are really trying to find the real, right, accurate, and high quality content. And believe it or not, as specialists, we can just get detect that content that written by AI from the first glance. Me myself, I do it all the time. I know, I know the words, I know the wording, the style, and everything. So, and really, we go more for the fresh content, the human like or human written content, more than the and especially for nowadays with the AI detection and everything, those notes will be rarely said. That you guys make sure, even if you're using whatever tool you're writing with, make sure to do a rewrite by yourself, your own words, because it will really differentiate your content other between the most used usually tools out there. So the thing here is make sure the quality are good, the credibility, the trust. You have to you want people to go back to your website and re revisit that content once again. So you want to make sure that it's accurate and highly trusted and trustworthy, because you want to use the authoritative style while you are writing. The cost effective marketing. SEO is the best cost effective marketing style. And let me tell you why. Because as Laurent was saying, if you are writing a good content with the right SEO, you will most probably, and this is based on case studies, guys, most probably you can decrease your ad. If you wanted to add, if you want to add, you most probably will decrease the cost of the ad or the marketing to almost 40%. So that's another one that you want to make sure that you you want to write SEO content with high quality, and that really wanted to position you it, and stand for the competitor, for the competitive market, whatever your industry is. Another point to the SEO, which is the user experience. Good SEO practices make your site go faster, more enjoyable for the customer or for the client, whatever your customer, whoever your customer is, and added competitive advantage to you. A strong SEO strategy ensures that you stay ahead in your industry. And last but not least, let me give you just a few tips for the SEO. The long tail keywords, that's another thing that you want to make sure that it's very important, because it works at the back end of your website. So make sure that you add, and this is my personal trick, make sure that you add the locations. Like, for example, if you're in New York, add use the location in the words itself. Like, try to, or if you are working globally, internationally, add those words as well, because it works in the long tail, or as the back end um, algorithms work. Another one, which is the engaging media. And I think Lauren was saying something about the pictures and the description for the pictures that really want high ranking right now, especially with the changes in the SEO for with the RAG models, the new models from the AI. So it works differently right now, especially with the images. And make sure that your website is mobile optimized, because that's another ticker in there. If you are, if your mobile is not, if your website is not mobile responsive, that's another kicker. That's something that you really wanted to make sure that it works, because guess what? 80% of people right now using their mobile phones all the time. Maybe we we are the only ones we can be surfing the internet through the laptops, but maybe for the rest of the 80% of the users will be using mobile phones. So make sure that your mobile is all your website is mobile responsive. That's another one that you have to put in mind, and make sure that you are updating your website to be mobile responsive. Um,
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna be
Amen.
chiming again, but that's for now. Back to you, Favor.
Thank you, Amen. The last thing you said was something I think if anybody is to remember is to update your website, update your website. There are 1.9 billion websites in the world. 82% of those websites have not been updated in the last 6 months. I can go to our website now and see copyright 2020, and they're still operating as a business in 2024. So those are some things that should not be happening. And the reason why those should not be happening is because your brain as a website has to be revitalized. As people, we have to be revitalized. We drink water every day, we hydrate, we brush our teeth, we shower, we eat, we think, we meditate, we pray. We do things that allow us to be better every day, right? Because we're growing, we're a second older, right? Every today you are not yesterday's age, you're today's age, right? So as you're revitalizing yourself as a business, you should also be revitalizing your website, so that when you're publishing your website, the sitemap of your website is a brain, and it always has something that says last modified. When you look at your local drive, when you go to your desktop, go to your computer right now. If you're by a computer, look at your desktop, look at your laptop, and you'll see there's some folders that have not been modified or added or touched in the last long X number of years, right? That's because you didn't have a reason to go back to them. So that's what it looks like on your website, because no one can come to that because there's nothing relevant to see or recent to see. Go ahead, Laurent.
I was listening too, and when you have all these keywords, it's also really important for us to set up a space where we can save data. So what I mean by that is, when you go on a website and you have a contact tab and you're asking someone to leave their email, you're asking them for you to be able to communicate with them after all is said and done. So when you do write some of these publications, or you do have something, you go back to your data. There's lists out there that you could literally purchase, and you can go to your nearest library, and people don't even realize that, and find these publication lists. You can send out publications that you've written to other platforms. You can also take into heed that you see their first and last name, phone number, the title, whom they are. And this is called a data sheet. So they have like different publishing companies have this. But early on, this lady named Echo and Sounds, and she was Jamie Foxx's publicist. So many different. She just reached out to me and she was like, "Hey, look, I want to show you how to actually be a real like a publication. You have to have data. You have to have emails in which you can communicate the information that you've created too. So when you have that space on your website that says contact or leave your information, you store that. Then once you write a publication, you send that publication to all of your data and make sure that you're kind of frequently sending them like brief things that aren't like dramatic to where they're just going to like target you to spam, But I'm getting ready to. I'm literally in motion of doing this exact same thing, and this is the reason why I'm talking about it. I just shot an interview on my wife, and we're gonna put this out on my platform. But what it is, it's a survivor scholarship for human keywords: human trafficking, sexual assault, and domestic violence survivors. Those three words right there are keywords in anyone's state, city, or wherever, right? So the fact that we're talking about that, those keywords are going to be bolded, or they're being bolded right now. Literally, I'm doing this right with you guys. They're being bolded right now. But when I put this interview out, I'm also going to send to my data list, in which I have like a bunch of other people who have other media platforms. And again, their first and last name contact. It might be a senior editor, or it might be a program director, or it might be whatever it may be. You can just go down that list. But then over time, going back from 2015, can you imagine how many emails that I have in my own data platform in which I can send this interview out to, in which I could just make people aware of it? It's also going to drive, I mean, it's like a cheat code on top of cheat code on top of cheat code to get your SEO all the way up to the top. But there's so many different algorithms you can play with personally, and it's just really beneficial. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. That is so big, and it's true because you look at the data that you're getting from these people, and they're connecting with you at some point. Like I also, when I talk with companies, and they have POS systems, even if you're a brick and mortar and you have a physical store, because we work with both online and physical commercial. I'm wondering, some stores, they have their POS, they use Clover and all these other platforms, or Square. They're paying for these platforms, right? They're paying for them monthly or yearly, whatever their contract is. And at the same time, the business owner mindset is not thinking about saying, okay, if I'm spending $30 a month, for example, on this, POS system, I'm just giving a random example. Am I getting 30 contacts in response in a month for the $30 I spent? If you start thinking about the value of communication in between social media and marketing, because we on social media right now, we get followers, we're excited, like my threads right now is going crazy. I just said 5 words, this page makes me happy, and I'm seeing over 20,000 views, and now I'm getting random follows on my threads as I'm speaking to you. I've been getting follows on threads like crazy. Now I'm understanding the code, like breaking the code, cracking the code, seeing like exactly what's going on. How do you connect with people? It's not rocket science. It's just SEO. It's just communication. I will respond back to the right people, say the right things, the right people will see it, and then the right people will respond. And that way you're able to connect the dots. So the reason why that SEO is so important for you and why you send out those emails is because you want to send signals, right? SEO equals signals. There are three S's. I've talked about them. It has to be semantically understood, it has to be sentimentally appreciated, and it has to be search engine optimized and treated. When you have those three, content and context, it works well. If I say financial tips, you'll be like, okay. But if I say financial tips, how to go from 5 to 6 figures in a year, that's context. because now I'm going to buy this book on Amazon because I could read the last section of this book. That's my goal. I want to get to this point. I know about financial tips. I can Google that, but I want to know exactly contextually how I can achieve this. So when the shift changes, when you start changing your mindset and how you articulate how you say things online, from the first word, from the very first word you show up with, boom, it helps. If you look at my last Instagram, I said calling all creative entrepreneurs. So that was literally the call. We're going to be going live in less than 30 minutes on Instagram. So you guys will see me and my friend there, and we're going to go live on Instagram and audit your website, audit your brand, audit your social media. It's the first time we're doing it. And the first episode I did on August 13th, 2019 for my podcast was an Instagram live replay. If you guys listen to this room, the replay, the very first link I put up was my music. So if you guys want to listen to my music, it's there. If you save this replay, you'll see the Apple Music there. And now we're making jingles. If you listen to the new season has a new sound because I had to create new music for the new season. I'm like, we can't be doing new seasons with the same sound, with the same music background. So changing those things sonically also allows you to actually be in a different mood. You know what I mean? Yeah, Laurent, I want to come to you. I don't I want to go to America's Supermom too, but I want to hear what you
No, no,
have to
no,
say.
no. Let's
Please
go
go
to
ahead.
her first. I'm definitely not hogging the stage. I'm so sorry, guys.
Nah, you fine. America's Supermom, good morning. We'd love to hear from you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm enjoying this. I am definitely in learning mode most of the time that I come into this room. One thing I have heard several times about this long tail description type thing. So, can you explain that a little bit further?
Okay, I'll explain it, and then I'll also because Laurent talked about it too. Long tail. Let me start from short so that we can get to the long part. Short tail, when somebody says a short tail keyword, somebody else can also say it's a seed keyword. Someone else can say it's a head term keyword. Someone else can say it's a primary keyword. So all those say the same thing for short tail keyword. So short tail is 1 to 2 words: marketing, digital marketing, email marketing, branding, you know, visual branding, guerrilla marketing. That those are like seed keywords because that's the seed point. If I say yellow chairs or yellow furniture or yellow interior design or yellow paint, that that's the seed, that's the head term. So from anything after that is contextual. It could be yellow paint for a Barbie house. It could be yellow paint for a new home. It could be yellow paint for a brick wall. Like it starts to change contextually because the words you now start adding after the seed becomes the long. After the short becomes a long. So anything from 3 to 5 words, like restaurants near me or sushi restaurants near me, that starts to become long, and it's going to even get longer because people now want to say, hey, hey Google, hey Gemini. I'm looking for restaurants that serve between 9 o'clock and 2 p.m. They have brunch, and I want to get this on their menu. What items do I? People are going to get more sophisticated with their search now that AI is also involved. So it's going to get to a point where people will be really specific. And if you have to show up as a result in that search from Alexa, from Siri, from whoever, your website has to be the core determining factor. Because when your website is appreciated or talked about, it's because it's coming from a web page that you've built into your site because of the URL, which is a uniform resource locator. So if someone is typing, I'm looking for lasagna, how to make lasagna, and you have 5 different ways to make lasagna on your website, and you're focusing on a local store where you are, or maybe going international and featuring other stores because you're adding Google Maps listings, you're adding other things that are also attributing to that search, then visually you're communicating that, hey, I'm the person to come to if you're looking for how to make lasagna. Now it goes from just typing in lasagna to how to make vegan lasagna if somebody wants to go that way. So those specificities become the long tail part, and then the short tail is where everything starts, like from the beginning of the race to the end of the race. Passing it to you, Laurent, to explain further.
Yeah, I'm into creating my own keywords too. Like, Um, Again, I'm going back like till 2015 when I started this platform. So I do have a database in which I'm going to send to, right? But I also knew before I even had the data, well, I didn't know, someone had to teach me. But like I learned that also purchasing other data like lists are huge to help you build that SEO. And I'll tell you why in a minute, because you're storing data and your own keywords and even using keywords that are you're just talking about of that subject. Me personally, I like to create my own keywords, so I'll just use like an example of what I know, what I'm doing. Survivor scholarship. Now, what that entails is giving a scholarship to people who've surviving sexual assault and domestic violence, right? So, survivor scholarship. I'm going to continue to talk about the survivor scholarship through multiple entities in this interview and in a publication about that interview. I'm writing about each person talking about the survivor's scholarship. And each time I use that survivor scholarship, it kind of almost sounds like a keyword when I'm just talking to you because I'm using it so much right now. But in web format, I'll have that link, and that'll be a link that'll go to somewhere else. And what that is going to go to is the survivor package. So I told her that the nonprofit we have should give back some kind of scholarship. I came up with an idea to give her uh, the connection with this lady who's an activist. She's really big in the community. The DA's behind her, the police department, everybody, right? She's an activist for human trafficking, sexual assault, and domestic violence. And so I said, hey, let's create a survivor scholarship. And I'm just talking to you about what I'm doing like right now. Um, that whole keyword right there is being talked about through asking Annabelle is her name, asking this lady a question about it and having her annihilate, or I'm sorry, express what she feels about the survivor scholarship. And then I'm talking to my wife Lachey about the survivor scholarship and what this means to her. And then we have somebody else in it. So now that's an interview format, but I'm going to turn it into a publication format as well. So if I'm talking about it now, that survivor scholarship word, that's a key word. What I can do with that keyword is endless. So like when I said it's a landing page, that keyword, you click on it, it goes to a landing page that shows where you can donate to the survivor scholarship. Okay. So now I'm not only just trying to build that SEO up from this publication or these interviews, but I'm also utilizing it all the way down to how will these texts on this platform work for me? Like I don't even want to type benefiting the right way. So how can I capitalize off of that? That's just through the text. Now for the SEO, when you just tapped into, if you were keeping up, I tapped into 3 different people on one interview. Okay. So if 3 different people are on one interview, obviously both all three and they have a good following, they're gonna share this interview, right? Not to mention it's for a genuine good cause. So they put something like this out with all those with those, we're just using one keyword or shit. I'm putting that out through them. What that's doing is not through them, but on my platform, but obviously they're going to share it. What that's doing is that's driving my people who are clicking on that link to go look just at the interview alone. Now I drove that up through just 3 people, but now I also have words that are inside of that publication. So when it's released, now I have a whole format of. But here's another thing that I was really, it's so hard to do, but like, cause sometimes you just want to let it go. You just want to get your content out there. You just want to promote it. I literally am going through this right now. The 22nd of this month, I had my wife set up for a TV interview. She was gonna go on TV, but the production type of emergency to where the leader had. So very important when you have a keyword in a publication or anything like that that you're doing, that you also capitalize on the other marketing that's around whatever you're putting out. And if it's a publication, an interview, and it's big to you and it means a lot, if you got a freaking TV interview that you're getting ready to do on like news station, like syndicated, wait, wait to put it out. Because also a lot of times people nowadays in the industry specifically, they will do a lot of things around a time frame. Oh, I know I got this coming up. So once this comes up, this is when I release this. And once this happens, that happens a lot. So it's also very important because that can also help your SEO at that moment in time. Us as humans, we are not necessarily we're stubborn people. We're humans. Everybody's human. So we don't always listen as well as we should, right? So if you have a mass amount of like marketing behind a short time frame, it's it's a lot more effective when you have a small time frame of marketing with a limited amount of, I'm sorry, a small window of opportunity but a limited amount of marketing on it. So always capitalize on what you're doing every time. Just make it count, make it count.
I just wanted to ask something really quick. I'm sorry, I had gotten a phone call through some of that, but you were talking about the major interviews. So I've been on national things before, like the Rachel Ray show, for example. So, in using that information, how could I recreate that even though, the segment was done
Oh
a
my
long time
gosh,
ago?
that's such a good question
Mm-hmm.
about that too. Because some people just let the dang, I had this. You know what? Get in contact with the production and be like, hey, look, can I also have my videographers and my photographers please come in because I want to capitalize off this moment as well. I know that I won't interrupt the time frame or the segment or anything. I'll be respectful, I promise. But please let me capitalize and create my own content off this because I'm about to let this off. Like, yo, that is a great question. And that is exactly production. Communicate with whomever you need to and say, hey, look, I'd like to also bring a media in. I was ready to sacrifice in this very situation. I swear to God, I just told my wife the production was saying that you can bring 4 people around. Okay, well, look, if I'm gonna have Annabelle, you're gonna go obviously because you're in the interview. Okay, I need the audio engineer there because he's gonna be the next. My company manages an audio engineer as well, but he's gonna be the next person that I have do this interview. So I want him there. So that's 3 right there. And I need to capture this moment. Was the last one. It was like I said, Lachey, if I can't go to this interview, videographer, photographer, he's gone because we need to make sure off of that moment to where we can use it to our benefit later on down the line. Because publication coming out, or say, what if I didn't have an interview coming out around the same time frame? Uh, how would I still be able to just take pictures of my tell people and just have it up there to just have a for a look? So that was such a good question. Dang, I really appreciate that question because I'm literally going through that right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna break this down in 15 minutes because we gotta leave here, and I'm gonna make sure I respect everyone's time, and I have to go live pronto. And I said that, so I'm gonna make sure it's gonna be quick. And Desiree, thank you for joining here. I appreciate you for being here as well. Taj, thanks for being here. I see you. Iyana, Hussein. Hussein, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. Thank you for joining. West, Ehab, thanks for being here as well. Soma, Pezman, Lynn, and Bianca, appreciate you all. Now, I want to say this real quick because I'm going to make this very quick. Very quick. I'll answer this to you, America Supermom. Come to you, Desiree. Complete my 5 consumer awareness and tell you what we need to do before we leave. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Liverpool's finest. Appreciate you. I know it's afternoon for you. You want to say something before we go?
No, no, no. I just wanted to thank you for this room. It's been really, really, really insightful. So thank you for that for this room. And also as well, I know I was aware it's been brought to my attention that you had a room on Chatter some time ago, but I didn't get any notifications about your room. So yeah, maybe, I don't know how you can, because I would love to be able to be able to see your rooms. So I don't know how you're going to be able to notify me. So when those rooms, if you do open another room on Chatter. But yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, Liverpool's finest. I would say what you could do is before you go, click on the link in the chat. That's a link to a podcast. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the show and then get on the contact list. That way, I'll be able to get you to at least get those insights and those email notifications, because when Chatter, for like, you're already in, so when you get the link to Chatter, you'll be able to get that from your email. So that's the best form of communication for me, is through email, so you can get those alerts. So I wanted to just let you know this too. Desiree, you said I'm not able to speak, I just wanted to be closer to thank you, appreciate you for being. I wanted to make sure you're here. So American Supermom, I wanted to say this real quick. You asked a question about referring back to you, because if you've been on a show, right, there's something called branded content and non-branded content, right? Branded content means that your brand is on that specific list, right? Your name is there. So non-branded content mean that if I'm, let me give you an example. If I'm trying to go to Walmart, but I don't want to say I'm going to Walmart, I'm going to say, hey, I'm trying to find, pillow covers. Where can I go? It's going to say Walmart. It's going to tell you it's Target. It's going to say all these other things. So what is happening is you've created a non-brand to a brand. And I usually like to say it this way: brand is content, non-brand is context. So brand means content. I know Nike, I know Walgreens, I know this, I know that. I know Tesla, I know Apple, right? I can distinguish the two, right? I can mix them. So that's content, that's brand. Non-brand is, I'm looking for running shoes. I want to walk better. I want to feel lighter. I want to wear, silk material. I want to wear linen clothing. That's the context. That's the material. That's the fabric. That's the specificity of what's going to determine whether you're going to buy that product or not. So that's where that comes into. So why I'm giving you that example in like a 30,000 viewpoint is so that when you come down to your website and you now want to associate with that brand, because you were featured on that website or on their website, they featured you. So if they featured you, then your website needs to be on their site. And in reverse, in return, your own site should have theirs. It's like your bridge. Because if and people do this a lot, but people also don't do it as much. Even though you were featured on this platform, if it's not on your website that it was documented that you did it, it wasn't done. It's like, you know how we say if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist? That's kind of like the same thing with SEO. You document what happens at that time. If something happened, if there was breaking news, you will see an article on the web. If you go back as far back as any day in the year, I just talked about the 1920s, how pink was actually a color for men before they changed it to women, because pink is a form of royalty. It's actually a real thing, right? I talked about that earlier, but context will switch it, and then we'll now have blue and pink because it's boys and girls. Yet pink was also for guys, and guys used to wear pink in the 20s. So when you look at context and you now match it to the brands, your website should now start having those brands. So her name should be on your website within a URL. So it's your domain.com/ the name of the brand. A lot of podcast websites do that. A lot of, course websites do that. Kajabi versus Podia, Teachable versus that. All of them are talking to each other because they know that people are going to go to those sites. So when people go to those sites, who's the next best alternative? You. And if you're the next best alternative, then you're the next person people should come to. So when you do it like that and you now build SEO from that standpoint, you're building a bridge, you're associating your brand, and you're creating context, which allows people to now find you faster. And then they can now associate with you, find your LinkedIn, find your social, and then the rest is history. So that's how you do it, but it takes tenacity and it takes consistency, and that takes accuracy with SEO. So does that help you, America's Supermom?
That was brilliant. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hey, man, before I go, I just want to say I really do love this room, man. I really appreciate this space. You guys are amazing.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, this is always a great space, man. Thank you for being here. Wes, we'd love to hear from you. Thought, question. We'll come to you before we wrap up in the next 9 minutes. I got to run through this 5 points, but I want to make sure I can take care of everyone's need. So, Wes, coming to you. What's up?
Wes, you there?
Wes going once. All right, Wes, let's know when you're back. Please text us or put in the chat, and then we'll get back to you. So I want to run through this really quickly. And for anyone who wants to connect with me for a 15-minute free call, complimentary, make sure that you click the link above and we get on that call. If you are serious about working, if you want to invest in the future, let me just give you like a big picture. I had a meeting with my team yesterday, We had a team meeting where about 9 of us plus 12 AI. So that's 21 plus another assistant, 22, right? With AI. Now, the 9 of us, we have different departments. We all work on different things. I handle the SEO, they handle other things, right? Research, logistics, copy, design, podcast, whatever it is, audio. And I had a meeting with them. One of them, she's in South Africa, right? And she works with like the TV company like Trace TV and all those. So it was really, cool connections. And we met on LinkedIn, by the way, just to give you some context. We met yesterday and we talked about it. We were discussing a client's brand. And the client, they do like lip fillers, they do Botox, they do non-surgical medical, like BBLs and all these things. And we wanted to know how best, people can get into those things. So we did some research, and this is coming into the 5 consumer awareness that I was talking about, right? The first level is unaware. So with unaware, people are unaware that there's a solution to the problem that they have because they're not sure if they need this. They need to be told stories, they need to be told benefits, solutions, features. They don't even know what you have, right? And now they're like, okay, now I have a problem. Now I'm aware of the problem. I wasn't aware until the problem became aware. Now I'm aware of the problem and I want to solve the problem. So I'm going to type online, I'm looking for lip fillers, for example, right? When we did research, we realized that how to become from problem aware to most aware is what we're going to do. I'm just giving you like a live case study of what we're about to do with the client. And this is in preparation for the holiday season for them because they charge it's a lot of money to get those things done. It's crazy. So we're doing a live case study to realize where in the US do people need this information the most? Where are they searching for them the most? Then secondly, if they're searching for them, who are the top people they go to in those areas within those zip codes? And then when we get those zip codes, because every commercial address has a zip code. So you're going to drive there. So before you drive there, we got to know what is going on here and there. So we're going to now figure out the people. We're going to identify the zip codes where people are actually even going to spend that type of money, and between a 1 to 10% disposable income out of their total annual income. So we look at the total household, then we look at the total income annually, and then we now look at how much the total disposable income or the disposable expense they can actually have as a business. So when we look at those things, we're able to know, okay, this zip code can spend $30 on a t-shirt. This community can spend $5 on a t-shirt. So that's how we're able to distinguish and know when we're running ads here, we're not running ads blindly because we know people in this community, they know what they're spending money on, right? So that's how we're able to build it up and create it so that on social media, every social media account that you have as a business should have your website as the link. You know, when you go to Facebook, they say add your website. When you go to LinkedIn, they say add your website. When you go to Threads, add your website. All those filters, all those spaces should have your website. That is called claiming your property. That means you're at least claiming a percentage of a property that you don't own. So if you tell people, hey, follow me on social media, great. But if you say, hey, follow me on social media and don't forget to check the link in bio to get exclusive insights on what we send you via email, now you've separated the two. The people who are unaware to people who are now problem aware, that if they want to be solution aware, they now opt in. Now, when they're solution aware, they're product aware. Why are they product aware? Because they're aware about your business. They know what you talk about, what's right for you, what's not right for you. They know that, okay, this is for these type of people. This is not for this type of people, right? And then when you're most aware, you have guarantee. When you do a 30 money back, 30-day money back guarantee, right? That means, okay, it makes sense. If you look at somebody's website and it has all the cards, it says we do Amex, we do Visa, we do MasterCard, we do, Discover. You can see all those logos there. You can see somebody's website, you can see the certificates, the badges, you can see all those things. Oh, we're accredited. You see those things, it makes you most aware because it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know that you are also certified. I didn't know you're accredited, or I didn't know you are registered. I didn't know you're a business. I didn't know you do this. Now you're most aware because a third party has validated you because of the guarantee, right? Because how would you know that you are a product aware business? Is because you probably have a Clover or POS that you had to submit your EIN, your tax ID, your business information to even have a business account. So those are some small things to look at. So when you're now thinking about social media, all those marketing efforts you're making have to calculate to some type of dividends at some point for your business. So that can come in form of text, audio, video, and you could do that with podcast, with email, and with your website. So that's what I have for y'all today. And I appreciate you. I'm going to be going live in 3 minutes on Instagram. So you guys can meet me there. Just follow me here. And if you have any questions, connect with me. I really can't wait to audit your website, audit your brand, audit your social. So wherever you are, tap in. We're going to be there for some time. So this has been a great room. Thank you so much for joining. Ryan, would you like to say anything before we go? America's Mom, Supermom, anybody can go. Let's go.
Have a great day, everybody.
You have a great day, and thank you so much, Favor. It's very insightful once again, man. You're a legend. Blessings.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. God bless you all. Enjoy yourselves. Anna Lee, you came in the room at the end. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you so much. Kemi, I see you too. Name, Busiana, Bianca, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I hope you guys learned something new. Kenneth, for those who got a ticket, I see you guys. Kemi, Kenneth, Peasant, Taj, and Desiree too. Make sure that you guys click the very top that says Marketing Club so that you can be here. We're getting close to 350,000 members. We're at 349.3K. So we want you guys to be part of this community. And tomorrow I'll be here again in the morning. So make sure you're here. I love being here in the morning because it's good. I know like it's an international app, so not everyone is in the US. So I want to pay respect to that. So y'all, I'm gonna see y'all soon. Cuckoo, I'm gonna see you there too. Thanks for being here. God bless you all. Have a good day. Save this replay, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow.